I am a Christian.
I am a patriot.
I stand for truth.
When no one else will.
I know, no matter what happens in the world, there are others like me who follow Christ, not culture. And I am not alone.
My children will grow up in a country that prioritizes keeping them safe. And I am fighting for that future.
I am a source of God's truth for people living in a world that wants to confuse them. And I am not afraid to speak up.
I am leading my community to prove to them that my generation is not lost. It's my time.
I am the FlashPoint Army.
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 The essence of our nation at its core is a belief in God. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a belief in God, and it's interesting. If you go through, and this is something you can learn from Dennis Prager, the Bible he's done on Exodus, it's really great. But Dennis Prager, Jewish teachers, Christian teachers all agree that the book of Proverbs is really clear that a fear of God comes from, common sense comes from a fear of God. When you lack a fear of God, you lack common sense. And so a lot of the things that we've seen in the last, since you mentioned 2012, the stuff that's taken off, the different agendas that are really being pushed by the secular, woke, progressive Democrats don't even make sense. I'll take you to my ranch just out of here, and I can put any viewer we've got behind my cattle herd, and every single one of you can tell me the gender of every critter in my cattle herd. You won't have any trouble at all. And yet in corporate training last month, LGBTQIA plus trainers told corporate executives we have now identified 150 different genders in America. Are you kidding me? That's not even common sense. So the more secular you become, the crazier you become. You start looking like France instead of like England, speaking in Europe terms, not that England is perfect. So what's happening is if you get away from a sense of God, then you get away from a sense of rights, because in our Declaration, our rights come from God. They're above the reach of government. That's why we had the Bill of Rights added in a debate that happened at the last part of the Constitutional Convention. We've got to set our rights aside from government, those that come from God. Well, if you don't have a God that you believe in, then all rights are negotiable by government. So our whole concept, our whole way of life, our whole concept of freedom, of jurisdictions, all of that comes from that spiritual understanding. And it really is not a good deal. The more secular we become, the less common sense we have, and the more tyrannical government becomes.
Oh, that's so true. All right, look at this. Eric, I want to get you to comment on this. This is the Oregon governor poll. Look at this. Johnson with 6%, Kotek with 43%, Drazen with 45%. Again, this is Oregon. And that was from October 31st to 11/2. This is staggering to see this even in a poll. Now, I agree with David. We kind of gave up on polls. If we go do a poll of 500 people outside Boston University, I'm pretty sure I know which way that's going to go. So that's the whole problem with polls. However, when you see such an extreme shift in polls, that's something that we have to pay attention to. Eric, what do you think with Oregon? What is the overwhelming thing that has happened there?
I think at some point, and I've said it and we've all said it, things get so bad that common sense takes over. In other words, if the biggest problem is your 401k is down a little bit or crime is up 2%, we are at a level of disaster everywhere you look in America. And of course, it's the worst in the blue states, the blue cities, places like Oregon, New York. But it is so bad that it's almost unbelievable, the level of disaster that Democrat policies have brought to human beings. Let's get honest here. This is not about politics. This is about people trying to live their lives in a country where we're supposed to be able to govern ourselves. And the Democrats have never, ever been as aggressive in promoting socialist policies, critical race theory, transgender, defund the police, a level of madness that most of us couldn't have conceived of 5 or even 10 years ago. It's amazing. So I think people are waking up. My prayer and my hope, Gene, is that enough people vote, enough people are angry and say, we've got to take our country back. Our children are at stake. Our grandchildren are at stake. It has never been more serious. People need to wake up.
America Stands, election coverage in the spirit of faith. This election season, the America Stands team will be educating and equipping voters to evaluate candidates and to get involved in the election process. The coverage includes live election results during the primaries and the November midterms. Our expert panel provides analysis and insight, keeping you informed and encouraged as it all unfolds. For voting resources and program schedule, visit americastands.us.